Hey, this is Jordan Hill with Dirt to Sky Business Podcast. Thank you to Compass Visuals for sponsoring today's episode. And we are still looking for one more sponsor for Dirt to Sky. I am really lucky to be here today with Jason Conrad, owner of the Salem Capitals. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. I've been going after you for about all year, trying to get you on here. So I know you're busy. Thank you for making the time.
Yes, no, absolutely. I'm glad I could make it.
Yeah, I've been trying for about a year to get you here, and I know you're so busy. So thank you for making the time.
It's been a whirlwind, but yeah, I'm glad I was able to make it.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, I mean, I go to as many Capitals games as I can, but many of the listeners don't live here in Oregon. Yeah. So if you just want to talk about what you do and kind of your journey, go back as far as you want, but your journey leading up to what you're doing now.
So I own the Salem Capitals, which is a professional basketball team in the USBL. The USBL was around from 85 to 2007 and was actually the original feeder league for the NBA. So, I mean, some notable names would be like Manute Bol, Muggsy Bogues, you have John Starks, you have Spud Webb, but actually over 130 guys from the USBL in those years made it to the NBA. So
wow.
We're in the revival of it right now, season 1. And it's been great. I mean, there's obviously a few speed bumps that come in that resurrection, like that first year, but we're definitely on the right path to doing something special. And,
wow.
Basketball's been a part of my life for a long time. I actually played every sport except basketball until I got to high school.
Oh, no way.
For those of you watching, I'm 7 feet tall, so I know it's hard to tell while I'm sitting down. But I was sponsored for skateboarding. I BMX'd. I was an all-star hockey goalie. I was a quarterback in football.
So you really did play everything.
I literally did everything except basketball. And then when I was 5'8", my last day of 8th grade, I played everything except basketball. So I was 5'8" the last day of my 8th grade year. And then I luckily grew. So I was 6'3" the first day of my freshman year.
Oh my gosh.
6'7" the last day of my freshman year. And then gradually grew. I was 6'11" when I graduated high school. And then when I was 21, I grew another inch. So
oh my God,
I hit that 7-foot mark. And my mom's 6'2". She immigrated here from the Netherlands, and they're the tallest in the world on average. So I'm half Dutch. And then my dad is 6'4", and they were both collegiate athletes. They met icing their backs in the training room at Santa Clara. My mom was a volleyball player. My dad was a baseball player. So
yeah, that's
basketball
cool.
was the one thing that they had no idea anything about. So
yeah, right.
But no, it worked out. I mean, obviously them being athletes were always super supportive of everything I did. And going into my senior year of high school was actually a preseason McDonald's All-American, and then ended up shattering my ankle 4 games into my senior season. And I kind of, all the big schools stopped calling. So I actually, when I was being recruited, I was talking to Stanford. I got to talk to Bobby Knight when he was at Texas Tech. So that's when him and his son was the one recruiting me. And then I got to have a phone call with him. My very first college letter was actually my sophomore year of high school from Lorenzo Romar at University of Washington when they were ranked number 8 in the nation.
Wow.
And so, basketball just became a thing. And that was kind of my, the catalyst that turned into all these other goals. And so, the first goal obviously was to get through high school. I'm not a great student. I wouldn't say I'm book smart, but I'm definitely street smart, and being able to utilize whatever resources I can find to make sure I get things done is something I am really good with.
Yeah.
But if you go ask me to memorize a bunch of stuff, that's not my forte. So, high school was a little bit of a struggle academic wise. And then when I got to college, I was really good about looking at professors so I was always really good about doing homework, making sure I had to get the things done I needed to. And then when tests would roll around, I would just fizzle. I would always find teachers on Rate My Professor that were like 80% homework was your grade. And so definitely did my due diligence. I actually went to school I wanted to be a high school art teacher and tattoo artist. So I was a studio art major with an emphasis in painting. And then I was going to be a teacher and then tattoo on the side. And then I actually ended up playing professional basketball instead. So,
it could have gone you would have had a successful career no matter which one you chose.
Yeah. So
really.
and it's fun because I ended up playing in 9 different countries overseas, and everywhere I played, I got to implement art in some way, shape, or form, whether it was just me hanging out and drawing or doing art classes, or I love to do like wine and paint classes. So yeah, I mean, it's nice that I got to incorporate. Art is probably my biggest passion out of anything, bigger than basketball, bigger than, I mean, cooking is a big one for me, but art is definitely that thing for me that I can do at any point in time, and it will bring me satisfaction regardless. And so it was nice to be able to have that, because when you go overseas, it gets lonely sometimes. Language barriers. I mean, just being in a place you don't know, scenery you don't recognize. So I was always good at exploring, and I always made friends with fans. I've always been a big community guy. But I mean, I originally ended up in Oregon because I signed with Portland State when they went on their run in 2008. And then I ended up getting sick, took a year off, and then ended up at Chico because I wanted the college experience. I wasn't even going to play basketball when I first decided to go there.
Oh, wow.
But they were the number 2 party school in the nation, and I was 19 years old.
Yeah, so you're like, this is great. Yeah,
this works. And the head coach was actually from my hometown, offered me a full ride, and did my 4 years at Chico. And then my parents were they had moved up here when I moved up here for Portland State. And they drove down for every home game, 500 miles each way.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, your parents are awesome.
Oh, they're great. They are definitely my biggest supporters. So. Yeah, but then, I mean, I had a bunch of life happen, which kind of shaped me into who I am. And I ended up having like a last hurrah season. I played in Yakima, Washington, because they had just started a new pro league, and there was a team out there. And it's probably one of the worst basketball experiences I've ever had. But from a community standpoint, I ended up starting the largest free after school art program in the state. And that was like my motivation to just stay out there and stick it through. And so it was great. And then that opportunity that I had in Yakima is kind of what translated into me being able to do what I do now. And I always thought I'd get into coaching and that type of stuff, but now I own a basketball team.
Oh my gosh. So you it sounds like you never really would have thought like, I want to own.
No, not in a million years. Well, yeah, it was interesting. Just obviously the financial side of owning a basketball team is not something that I was privy to. And so the gentleman that had owned it before me, great guy. So I actually got hired on by him as community engagement and business development.
Okay.
And then he ended up moving, and then was like, hey, this isn't, something I think I'm going to continue. Do you want to buy it from me? And I was like, damn well, I can't buy it from you. So,
and what year was this? When was
this was right. I mean, we were still at the tail end of COVID. I remember our very first game, like we were still in masks. And I bought it.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 or 3 months before our official season started.
Okay.
So
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wow. And so I wasn't going to purchase it what he purchased it for. And I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to go for it, I'm going to go for it. So I ended up cashing out my savings, pulled my 401k, and then all the stock I had, and said, here's what I can give you.
Yep.
And he's like, cool, I'll take it.
Wow.
And I had like,
oh my gosh,
$2,000 left in my bank account, and I had just bought my first house. And so I bought a basketball team.
Oh my gosh. And it's like, you didn't have a plan B. Like you had to like, I
had to make it successful. And it was interesting just navigating that, because a lot of these other team owners are either ownership groups or people that are very well off. And, there's a lot of, multimillionaires that own teams. And here I am trying to rub pennies together and hope they populate and run a basketball team.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was interesting. And I had the unique experience that I was the player once upon a time. So I knew how the players wanted to be treated. I got to pull from different things I liked from playing overseas. And then I was fortunate enough, I've always been a big Savannah Bananas fan. And so I had read Jesse Cole's first book. And then I actually reached out to him on Instagram and was like, hey, so I just bought a basketball team. I'm out in Salem, Oregon, yada, yada, yada. And I hit him up on Instagram, and I wasn't expecting a reply. And I got a reply back right away with his phone number.
Oh my gosh.
And my whole business model came from this little conversation we had while I was in my backyard. And And here we are 5 years later, thriving. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, I bet there've been so many learning curves for you, but what was one of the biggest like learning curves you had?
Never owning a business. I'm a very trusting person. So I trusted people when they would tell me they were going to do something. No.
Wow.
And then on the, the flip end of that, it's hard because no one's going to, in my head, no one's going to do it as well as I'm going to do it. So just trying to give up a little of the control so other people can do their stuff. And it took a long time, but I've had 5 sponsorship directors in 5 years that have brought me $0.
Oh, wow.
And obviously we heavily rely on sponsorships to make this run, because I'm not the guy that's going to fund this out of my own pocket.
Right. So,
yeah. So I think navigating the trust value of when people said they were going to do stuff, and I believe they wanted to do it, and it's just sometimes people bite off more than they can chew. But I think just me holding myself accountable to make sure things would happen.
Right.
And it was it's been an interesting journey to navigate, but we found so many great people. Like, we heavily rely on volunteers. So our volunteer base is amazing. We were actually just in the arena last night setting up, and we have like full families. Like the kids come out, the parents come out. We make it like a big festive thing. And because our venue, we have to rent by the hour.
Okay.
So it's not like we just get to.
It's not just yours.
We can't just leave everything up all the time. So we found some really great people along the way, and now I do have staff that is very trustworthy. But I'm in year 5 and still looking for some pieces to fit in.
Right.
But the pieces I have found have been awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Yeah. It's such good energy every time I walk in for that. Like, like everybody from you, the players, to the volunteers, staff, like, I just love it. Your parents are there. Like it's you. It feels like home when you walk in. You feel like you're in a family, and it's great.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Like, it's professional basketball with a personal touch, and it's like, I was just explaining to someone the other day, like, you're not there to watch an experience, you're there to be part of an experience, and being able to interact and being able to, our players aren't just these things you're watching, but they're like tangible. Like you get to go after games, and you get to take pictures and get autographs signed. And it's, obviously we're not in the NBA, we're not the Blazers, we're not one of these superstar teams, but to some of these kids, they don't know the difference. And the fact that they get to have conversations and interact is huge. And I always say at every tryout, like, we're not looking for the best players, we're looking for the right players. Like, you have to meet every facet of what we're doing. You can't just be a good basketball player. Obviously me as the business owner, my goal is to make sure that there is a sustainable business model, and that we do everything we need to do. And then I'll hire a coach to make sure that we're winning. But me on the business side of it, it's hard to navigate sometimes, because I was the player. I was, actually a little bit ago, I was the coach, because we had lost our head coach. Luckily we found a new one. But just making sure that I can compartmentalize and prioritize what I'm doing is a huge piece to all of this. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do have some more questions about that, but a few things I heard I want to ask about. One of them was just like little things that other business owners can learn from you on this. But one of them, you found out the hard way that there are people that are say one thing and don't do another. And I mean, I personally know this about you and your character, but you are the opposite of that. When you make a commitment and when you say you're going to show up, you do. And so talk a little bit more about that.
I think a good example is season 1. I'm not from Salem. I moved out here. Nobody knew who I was. I was starting a basketball team. And actually my very first sponsorship meeting was with a really big company out here. I thought I was going to leave with a large sponsorship. And that meeting basically went... I explained who I was, what I was doing, what the goal was for the future, my accolades, everything I had done in my past. And they basically were like, thank you, no thank you. Basketball's never worked in Salem, and it's not going to work now. And that was my very first meeting ever. And I think for me, it was a good learning experience. And it's probably the best first meeting I could have had to prepare me for what was coming ahead.
Right.
So when we went into our first season, we only had one sponsor.
Wow.
Once our first game started.
Gosh.
By the end of the season, we had over 20 sponsors, and we had people with 2 weeks left in the season doing full-on sponsorships.
Oh my gosh.
And it was one of those things like, say what you do and do what you say.
Yep.
And I think my biggest asset is I follow through on everything I say I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I show up. Half the battle is showing up.
Right.
Especially in smaller communities like this. Like they're, word travels fast. It's, almost like high school and a game of telephone and who's doing what and what's happening. And so I learned real quick that all I had to do was show up, and it's an effort thing. I mean, again, I'm not the multimillionaire. I just show up and I do what I say I'm going to do, and it makes a world of difference. So at the end of the day, like, for those of you watching, like, it has nothing to do with your financials. I mean, a little bit, but it has nothing to do with your financials. It's just your integrity.
Yeah.
Integrity goes such a long way in the business world. And I think people value that, and making sure that you do show up when you say you're going to show up. And if you're not going to show up, let people know in a timely manner, you're not going to show up.
Exactly.
So there's just a big etiquette piece to it that I think I've been able to navigate really well. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you show up, good things will happen.
Exactly. Yeah. And the success and the financials, those eventually follow as a byproduct. You can only not show up for so long before, you start, getting what you gave. So I mean,
absolutely.
yeah. And then another thing that you said that stood out to me, which I personally related to as well, but you talked about like learning how to, because you knew you could do it better than really anyone else. It's hard to give up the control on certain things. And I wondered if maybe you could share like an example of that.
Yeah. I mean, year one, I was kind of a one-man band. I did all the sponsorship stuff. Thankfully, my dad is the hardest worker I know. If I can do half of what my dad does, I know I'll be set. But we were there it was just me and him. All the setups, all the breakdowns. We'd be there after a game till 3 a.m, breaking down, putting everything away.
Oh my gosh.
And then, like I said, we did end up getting people that came in and helped and said they were going to do what they were supposed to do. Again, learning curve with that, but just making sure that people also aligned with our values and what we were doing. Like you said, like you go in and it's an experience. Like we can't have people that don't have personalities. Like there's somewhere that those people fit in.
Yeah.
But
You're
it's
that's not
most of the time not in the forefront of what the Salem Capitals are. Like I'm sure there's some behind the scenes stuff. A good example is our new game day ops guy. His name's Austin, and he is, all over the place on game days. Like he's helping with setup. He's putting together it's like a play script, like everything that we have going on. He's now the one that puts that together when that was something I was doing.
Okay.
It'll be fun. So actually this upcoming Sunday will be my first time that I actually just get to be an owner and hang out and watch. So Austin is now like, I'll do the intro and the halftime on the microphone, but he's going to take over and do all the games. I will actually get to sit in the owner's box and watch the game for the first time in 5 years.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Congratulations.
And so it's, it's a process, but I did learn that I need to find the right people, ask the right questions. And then I just need to trust that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, which is the hardest thing, because I've learned, from experience that's not always the case, but sometimes you do have to let go of that control to see if it's going to work. And that's always the hardest thing as a business owner.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm doing everything the best way it can possibly be done. So how do I bring someone else in to do it?
Yeah.
But, my bandwidth is only so much, and I can only do so much. And I do need to sleep at night sometimes.
Yeah.
So I can't do everything.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Well, that's exciting. I'll be at that game. So I think that's so great.
It'll be exciting. Yes, absolutely.
And then, and something else that you said that I thought was super, super cool is that you're not just trying to bring the best players, but you're looking to bring the right players.
Right.
Like, have you brought in the best and sacrificed, the other part and learned the hard way?
Yes, actually we have. And that, that's why there's an element of there. I don't know how to explain it. Almost like an interview, like, now when we have guys come try out and they have to register, we have a whole slew of questions that they go through. And it's a lot of like, who are you as a person? I understand that you're a basketball player and I'll get to see that at tryouts, but who are you as a person? Because what we're doing, we're interacting. I always like to say, I don't own a basketball team. I own a community organization that just happens to play basketball. And, so we have had, people that haven't fit the mold. And that's how we learn. That's how we figure out what works, by recognizing what doesn't work. And you have to try. That's the biggest thing. Like, I will never not do something out of the fear of it not working, because what if it does?
Right.
And, you know, a big piece of that, specifically for what we do, we have a player who, when we go on the road, he'll go find people to come to the away game we're at and cheer for him every time. I mean, most people won't know who he is, but Dominique Lawrence, Damo. I mean, we played in Spokane for our first weekend, and he went out, got lunch, talked to the waitress. Like, she brought her whole family, her son, everyone, and they sat behind, you know, where our bench was. And it's like, how do we find guys like that are going to be just as good off the court as they are on the court? And there has to be a balance. You know, everything we do revolves around the community. If we don't have the fan base, if we don't have the people cheering for us, then we don't have a team. Like, we're not going to play in front of an empty gym, and that's not sustainable if I'm not selling tickets. So the personality piece does really matter. Obviously, winning basketball games is huge, and there is a balance where you can have both. That's great.
Is there anything that you would do different year one, looking back?
Knowing what I know now, I think even for me, there is that balance of trust of what people say they're going to do. And I think knowing now that I would navigate some relationships differently. You know, at the end of the day, I'm a business owner, and my job isn't to be your friend. And it's hard for people to compartmentalize sometimes. And that's something I do extremely well, especially with these players, because I'm one of the youngest team owners. There's guys on the team that I'm friends with outside of basketball. So it's like, I think for me, trying to teach them the best way to compartmentalize. Because I can talk to someone as their friend, and then in the next sentence talk to them as a team owner, and then in the next sentence talk to them as a coach. And let them know. Like, I do let them know, but I think for some of these younger guys, they had a hard time distinguishing, like, oh, well, you know, maybe I get to get away with something because I'm friends with him. No, that's not who I am. But then also not taking it personal. Like, I'm me as a business owner telling you something, and me as your friend telling you something. That's two separate things. And so that, I think for some players, it is tough for them to navigate. And maybe on my end, I'm not saying not have those relationships, but make sure I draw those hard lines in the sand way up front, because it took certain things happening for me to have to start distinguishing that.
Got it. Is that something you've always been able to do? Does that come naturally? Or, because I know not everybody, most people probably don't really know how to do that. So
no, it's tough. I mean, I went through a lot of life, and I'm a big believer that I went through all the life I went through to end up exactly where I am. And, you know, I always say there's like 4 big pieces of adversity I went through that kind of defined how my mind works at this point. And it's like, I know I can only control what I can control. I'm not going to stress things until they actually happen. Because as a business owner, you lay awake at night, like wondering what if and this and that. And it's just like, no, I mean, I can't sacrifice my sanity on the what ifs. It's either going to happen or it's not. And until it happens, it's not something I'm going to worry about. So, you know, it's been an interesting road to navigate. And like I said, there's been some life that has happened that has helped shape me into who I am and the way I operate. And at the end of the day, I think the biggest upside of that is I get to take the adversities I went through to help people not have to go through adversities, and help them on the mental health side of things, and be able to help them navigate certain situations in the proper ways. So are you I mean, and I know that you are a big mental health advocate, as am I. We have the same diagnosis actually, which I always get a kick out of. And I think it's so amazing, because
it doesn't have to be something that stops you in life and in business. It's something that if you master it and take control of it, it even can be an asset in some ways.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
So are you open to talking a little bit about that?
I mean, so I'm bipolar, and I think in the beginning it was really hard for me to navigate. I mean, so this is why I took that year off after. So I accepted a full ride to Portland State, was just having this mental breakdown. 2008, mental health was not a topic of discussion.
Exactly.
Went to my coach's office. They didn't really understand and basically told me I was, being
a little something.
And I literally went to I gave up my full ride and went straight to the hospital after that because I didn't know what else to do. And then it took, years and years and years for me to learn how to navigate. Luckily my girlfriend in college was very understanding, and I'm pretty sure without her being around, like college wouldn't have been feasible for me. And after college, same thing. I think there was little learning experiences every year, but I was 23 and I just had a lot of life happen, and I ended up going to my favorite childhood park and slitting my wrists, and I had sent out my goodbye text, and luckily they were able to track my phone and found me before I was no longer here. So at that point in time, I was kind of pissed that it happened. And now looking back, it's like, man, now I get to use this experience to help people. I went through all the wrong ways of coping. I'm sure people can imagine all the wrong ways you can cope, but like I said, now in return, I know all the right ways to cope. And now for me, being able to go through a mental episode, whether it's a high or a low, and know how to navigate in a healthy and productive way. And that's something, like, we do have a nonprofit attached to the Salem Capitals that we will start growing at some point. Obviously, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, but teaching people to cope in healthy and productive ways. For me, I'll never tell anyone to go off medication, but it just wasn't the right answer for me. It kind of just turned me into a zombie. And now it's like, when I hit a high and I need to, keep my brain busy or do whatever, like cooking is a huge thing for me. Art will always be a huge thing. Writing, I have this whole theory that I write it out instead of act it out. So I have this whole poetry book of super dark, morbid, like poems, but then you can literally see in the progression of the poem, like where I start, and then, okay, you can tell I'm feeling a little better. And then there's like a happy ending.
It's a healthy outlet.
Obviously working out in sports. I love, that Salem is 45 minutes from Portland and 45 minutes from the beach and 45 minutes from the mountains. And I can go pick and choose, like, cause I love being outside depending on the time of the year where I'm going to go. So the mental health piece of it is huge. Especially as a business owner, learning how to cope and deal with the stresses of the business side of things, I think. And
showing up when you are in a manic or depressive moment.
It's just those little things you do to make yourself successful, because at the end of the day, the only thing I control is me. So I don't want to wake up at 4:30 every day. But I know for me to get stuff done, I have to. But then, that I'll throw in like a little piece, and I'll do a 5 a.m. coffee club and say, all right, come over and hang out, and let's, socialize and network on a social level as opposed to a business level, and make sure that I am keeping that piece of sanity that I need along with all the hard work that's going into it.
Yeah. That's so awesome. Yeah. I think that's so great. Like, I think it's you set a great example, and you are helping others. I try to do the same, because it's like, it can be when, back when we didn't cope in a good way. I mean, it's such and so many people are in that spot. Either they will be in that spot or they're currently in that spot. And it's like, man, just with education, support, and figuring ourselves out, whether it is, medication or not, like what do we need? And just mastering it. Cause like you said, all we can do is control ourselves. So let's figure out how to do that. And we can be successful, and it does not need to hinder our business or, all of that at all. Like, we can be, I make a joke with people. I say, 1 week out of the month, I am the most productive. I get more done in that week than.
And it's hard because, when I'm manic, oh man, I can run off of 3 hours of sleep. I am super productive.
Let's take advantage of it. Build our business.
My backyard is done. My whole house is spotless. I'm doing more work than I've ever done. But then on the flip end of that, it's like when I do hit a down, how do I maintain that productiveness?
Right.
And that's one of those you just got to power through, and it's kind of a mind over matter.
Yeah.
And it's really tough sometimes. Right.
And having that support system that you can communicate. And this is what I'm experiencing. I set up my my mic, those that I am close with, and I just say, I might cancel a few meetings this week.
Oh yeah.
And we'll put them on the books next week, and they get it. And I think it's just awesome to we have our support system and set ourselves up for success ahead of time.
Yes.
And that is,
goes absolutely. A long way. I think, just people, again, setting expectations, and I'm very open with my mental health journey and everything. And I mean, I think most business owners that I work with are aware of who I am. And it just being upfront with people, on a social level, but also on a business level. It's like, hey, I get it. And if me being this way is going to deter you from wanting to work with me, that's totally fine. Like, you get to make your own choices.
Right.
But also know I get shit done. Like,
100%.
And it might not be as fast sometimes as it is as others, but I will if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it one way or another. And just, again, it's just a piece of adversity. And I always say I'm okay with speed bumps, but I will never have roadblocks.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Might slow me down a little bit, but you're not going to stop me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so great.
Yeah.
So tell me about something that's maybe next for you guys. I mean, I know you can't necessarily talk about everything that's in the pipeline.
I have some really, really fun pieces in the works. And when I'm able to be public with that, I'll come back on and tell you. The biggest thing right now is we actually just won the bid to host playoffs for the whole league.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
So we're gonna have all the teams out here in Salem. We'll be at the Armory. We just got the contract with ESPN to come out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's going to be super exciting. I know there's some NBA guys currently in the league. Seattle, I have a great relationship with the Seattle owners, and, they have a lot of great connections. So Gary Payton is part of their staff. Everyone, Sonics legend. Robert Pack is their head coach, and another great NBA guy. I was actually just at a game of theirs on Wednesday because the Sonics got announced that they're coming back. So Gary Payton was there. Sean Kemp, Xavier, there was a lot of these Sonics guys that were there. And just the fact that they're supporting the USBL as these NBA legends.
So cool.
It's those little things that help put us on the map, because it takes one tweet or one comment or one something from someone of a certain type of importance and significance within the basketball world to really put us on the map. And again, there's so many leagues around the world that are doing what we're doing, but no one's going to do it how we're doing it. And we have the unique opportunity to create something really special in the United States, because not many people know, when I played overseas, you were only allowed 2 Americans per team. And some teams, there's different requirements, and there are so many great basketball players in the United States, but the market, most people don't realize, is so saturated. You have I want to say is Jonathan Simons. I want to say I don't remember. But he went to he didn't play high school basketball, went to a G League tryout in Orlando, and then ended up he made the G League team, got picked up by the Magic, and then I want to say within a year had a multi-million-dollar contract in the NBA.
Oh my gosh.
And here's someone who didn't play high school, didn't play college, got overlooked, but had this opportunity because of the G League. But the G League can only take so many players.
Right.
So here we are. We're another facet of the basketball world that gets to give these guys exposure. And I think at some point, G League is great, NBA affiliates. I think at some point in the next 5 years, the USBL will be comparable with the G League, and guys will have to decide where they want to go.
Yeah,
because that's how I feel. I mean, we have players that have played for us. I mean, Kyler Kelly, he was already playing in the G League, but the fact that he's a hometown kid, came out here and played with us, and then went to the Lakers after that.
Yeah,
and now he's killing it overseas. We had Rob Upshaw, who started with the Lakers and then took some time off, and then he came and he played with Seattle, and then he played with us, and now he's killing it in China. I know Zay Gentry and Carlos Angel, who played for us, were killing it in Mexico. So it's just so many cool, fun, unique opportunities. And it's not just the basketball side too. Like our dance team is amazing. The Cherry Blossoms. And the cool part with them is now they're getting jobs as Rosebuds with the Winterhawks. And I know some of them just went and tried out to be Seattle Seahawks dancers.
Oh my gosh.
So, you know, we get to become this stepping stone and be part of these journeys of people that are, you know, working up in the ranks. And, you know, I'm hoping that at some point they find their way back to Salem. Because we're going to be the destination at some point. We're going to be the spot where people want to end up. And the fact that we do get the players we do, I mean, we're not San Diego, we're not Seattle, we're not LA. How do I entice people to come to Salem, Oregon?
Right.
And once they do, they love it out here. And it's not because of anything I'm doing, but it's because of the support that the community gives them. And it's special because no one has a fan base like we do. And, and it's just going to keep growing. I mean, our arena seats 2,300, and I'm, you know, in the next year or two, you're going to have to fight for tickets. That's I truly believe that that's what's going to happen. Speak it into existence, but I'm also going to do the work to make sure it happens. You're
out there. Like I see the community sees how hard you're working for your team and for, you know, the future and for the community in general.
For sure.
And everybody is just like, every time I go there, like literally it's the best energy. I always see community members that I know. It truly feels like, and it's just as fun to watch as like, you know, driving an hour to the Blazer game.
Right.
Super fun. Love it. I have literally just as much fun. And I can do it like with my friends. And so
there's something for everybody. I mean, if you bring your kids to a game, you can sit in the reserve or general admission seats, or if you want to have a date night, we have the 21 and over section. If you want that like close-up experience, we have the floor seats, we have the VIP seats. It's so I mean, there's something for everybody.
Exactly. And I will say too, it is probably the only thing that, besides going to a movie, that I can take my middle, elementary, and high schooler to, and Mike, and literally all of us have a great time. There are not that I can't say that about pretty much anything else. Usually someone hates something. So so you have done such a great job.
I mean, our whole thing is like, how do we, you know, one of the questions that I was asked is like, how do you get people to show up that don't like basketball? And that's why I say, like, it's a community organization. We obviously, the basketball is going on and that's the main event, but then we have the dancers, we have the social aspect of being able to hang out in the Ox Box with all your friends and drink a beer. We have the interactive games that are going on during timeouts. I bring everyone on the floor and dance at halftime. Like, so there's always something. And then after the game, like you said, it's just like a big social event. And there's also that, like, it's affordable. Like it's not cheap, it's affordable. There's two very different things. And it's like, I don't want someone's tax bracket to determine the experience they have. And so how do I make it so everyone gets to appreciate the same experience? So our merch isn't over the top expensive. Our concessions, we have a deal where they sell at normal prices and I just take a smaller cut so they still hit their margins. And then same thing with our alcohol. They are really gracious in the way they work with me. And they know that they're going to sell at bar prices and not fair prices. So you can get, you know, an IPA for the same price you're going to go to a bar and get it, and you're not paying $15 for a light beer. So
I appreciate it.
Me too.
That's so awesome. I love that you're like truly in it for the community and like, you know, and the team and that's
it's
not yourself, and not just like really shows.
It's, you know, I hear some of these other, you know, we're very fortunate that our community shows up the way they do. And there's other people that talk about like, oh, well, our community doesn't support us. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't support your community is not going to support you. And so it's really important that our guys are in the schools, our guys are out at community events, but they enjoy doing it is the thing. And that's that whole, like, finding the right person. So it makes my job really easy when they're so willing to, you know, take those roles and be able to interact with students and interact with, I mean, I bring the guys to Chamber of Commerce meetings all the time. And for me, it's like, that's a gold mine because that's where the majority of our sponsors come from. So if our players, can talk to business owners and talk to whoever, it just creates all these other opportunities. I don't think our players always realize that, but me as the business owner, it's like there's obviously some strategy behind what I'm doing, but they enjoy doing it, which is the best part.
That's so great. Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here on the show. Before we end, I would love it if you could just give one, even if it's reiterating something that we already talked about, but one piece of advice for the business owners that are listening.
Say what you do and do what you say. Showing up is, people say it's half the battle, it's more than half the battle. If you continue to show up, then good things are going to happen and people are going to recognize that. Because again, it's easy to say you're going to do something, but actually doing it is a whole nother ball game. And then it's everything you do, make sure you do it with some integrity. There has to be purpose behind everything. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Don't go through the motions. Make sure there is purpose behind what you're doing.
Yeah. Boom. Love it. Awesome. Well, where can people find you online?
You can go to salemcapitalsbasketball.com. That has everything from sponsorship opportunities to tickets. You can see our player and dancer profiles. If you want to watch games, they're streamed on Roku on the USBL app. And then you can also go to usbl.com and watch all the games from there. Everything's free for people to watch this season. I'm not sure if it'll be the same next season, but this season, and it's good basketball. And then if you are in the Salem area, make sure you come out to a Salem Capitals game. They're extremely fun. And if you can't afford it, just hit me up and I'll get you some tickets.
Love it. That's awesome. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much, Jason. And thank you to Compass Visuals for sponsoring this episode.